Hello, I'm Ed Etterback, Superintendent of the North Clackamas School District, and welcome to Convocation 2020. Today, I'm standing in the new and beautiful main building at Milwaukee High School, one of many completed or nearly completed bond projects that are wrapping up this fall. In spite of this pandemic, we've been able to ensure our bond work has stayed on track, providing new, safe, and efficient learning and work environments for students and staff for generations to come. Before I say anything else, I'd like to welcome the newest members to our team, new classified support staff, educators, and administrators. I'm both humbled and excited by the experiences you're bringing to our district, and I look forward to our work together. Next, I'd like to provide an opportunity for our association presidents to offer a few words.
Welcome back, classified colleagues. It's hard to encapsulate the emotions that we're all feeling right now. I want to let you know that I hear you and I appreciate and respect the work that you do every day. When I think of dependability, I think of our classified staff. In the spring, many classified staff still continue to work, providing meals, daycare, and technology to our students and families. Technology experts, office professionals, care professionals, couriers, custodians, maintenance staff, transportation, nutrition worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure this worked fluidly so that there would be less disruption to the learning process. Their dedication and dependability made it easy to transition during a shutdown and still support the needs of our students and family. When I think of flexibility, I think of our classified staff. Instructional staff, media techs, tech support professionals, office professionals are not only prepared to meet the challenges of 2 new online programs and education models, I have no doubt they will exceed and go beyond expectations for the education and well-being of our students that they work with every day. No doubt our job duties will look different this year, but I know our classified staff will be flexible and they will roll with it. And finally, when I think of classified staff, I think of the word resilience. And I know we have got this. Though we are often thrown curveballs, we still keep getting up to bat. Some of you may be in a new building or working remotely with new responsibilities. And many of you who are funded through programs that are not running this year are facing layoff and the uncertainties that go along with that. I know classified staff will be resilient, and when they are recalled to their positions, they will be ready for that challenge. I am walking with you, probably through the most difficult year that any of us have ever experienced in our careers. But I can't wait for the day that we all walk together again collectively to serve the needs of our students and our communities again. Thank you and take good care.
Good morning. My name is Shelley Simone. I'm a special education coordinator for the Putnam Feeder System, and I'm president of the North Clackamas Administrators Association. On behalf of NCAA, I would like to welcome you all back to school. As administrators, we're here for our students, our families, and all of you. Please know we are in this with you. This year, we have the opportunity to try new things and to learn alongside you and with you. We look forward to the collaboration, the teamwork, and the partnership with all the new learnings. I know each of us will do our best to serve our students. As Nelson Mandela said, it seems impossible until it's done. One day, we're going to reflect back and say we did some pretty amazing things for our kids that year. Please stay safe, stay connected, stay healthy, keep up your self-care, and things will improve. Have a wonderful year.
Hi everyone. It feels really strange to be welcoming you back to your own living room or kitchen table, or maybe your classroom if that's where you're listening today. But here we are. I'm looking ahead to this school year and thinking this is going to be a year like no other. And what that really is going to mean to us is that it's going to be a heavy lift, heavier than any other year. And I think one way in which we're going to have to do that heavy lifting is by listening, learning, and acting on what we learn. I was thinking about the fact that we are really going to need to listen to our colleagues and building leaders and the experts in the field of distance learning, because if you're like me, you have a lot to learn when it comes to teaching online. I know that I'm going to be acting by implementing totally new strategies to engage first graders online. Whew. Another way we're going to need to listen is by engaging with our students to hear how they've experienced the last 6 months being in quarantine and, you know, cut off from their social connections, and how their lives have changed, because as we've heard and probably learned, many of their little social emotional selves have suffered in this season, and we need to learn from them and find ways that we can act to support their growth both academically and emotionally. And finally, I think one of the most important ways that we will need to listen this year is to our students, families, and colleagues of color. You know, the events of this summer have been really acute, and we need to listen to these folks to hear how it's affected them personally. And we need to learn about the systems of oppression that have been in place for generations, and how those systems have impacted our communities of colors. And then we need to act. We need to act in support of our students and colleagues and families of colors to show that we have their back, that we are willing to act on their behalf. And, you know, none of this is going to be easy, but we're all here because we are teachers, and teachers are learners. And I think this is our year to be the students, to learn from everyone and everything that's going on around us. And it's going to be hard, but I guess the bright side is that at least you get to do it in your soft pants. So welcome back. Have a great year. I'll be talking to you soon.
Hello everyone, my name's Stephanie Rose, and I'm the Executive Director of the North Clackamas Education Foundation. I am so excited to be starting yet another school year with all of you. I know that this year probably looks a lot different than any of us were expecting. I had a senior graduate last year and have a freshman coming up this year, so I knew things would be different. But through it all, I knew that you had our backs, and I can't thank all of you enough for what you've done to ensure that our students have an engaging and full year and continue on the path to graduation. The foundation has always existed to support the students, families, and teachers of North Clackamas schools, and this year we're finding our own challenges in that. One of the challenges that we've faced already is teacher grants. We know that from day to day, you don't exactly know what your classroom is going to look like or what it's going to need. And so in the spirit of that this year, we are not having any grant rounds or application deadlines. We will be accepting grants all year long and getting you the funding as soon as you figure out you need it. Just be a bit patient with us. We do have a small staff. I am looking forward to another amazing year. And as a partner organization of the district and a parent of a student in the district, I know that when we all come together, we've got this.
Thank you, association leaders. It's an honor to get the opportunity to work with you again this year. Next, I'd like to provide the opportunity for our school board chair, Lieber Ford, to offer a few words.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another school year here at North Clackamas. I am your school board chair, Lieber Ford. I'm excited about this year. We are very clear that this will be a different year. Many of us are uncertain about what it will be like and what it will feel like and what it will achieve. But in uncertainty, there's so much possibility. So let's do this together. Let's gather, get in front of our kids. Let's create experiences that they'll never forget, that will build them up and prepare them for the future in a way that we could not imagine just 4 months ago. We got this. We're behind you, and you absolutely are prepared and capable. We can do this.
May
I want to thank our association leadership for your collaborative relationships and in our abilities to effectively problem solve. I also want to extend my appreciation and gratitude to our school board for their support and for their advocacy of our school district and public education. I would also like to recognize the staff that have worked over the summer to help us get to the place where we welcome educators back this week and students next week. Employees in our business operation and human resources departments, community relations, our instructional services and student support departments, school programs, technology, nutrition services, transportation, and facility operations, to name a few, worked tirelessly the past few months ensuring that we are ready to do school. Thank you for your continued commitment to our school district and our community. Convocation is a time, once a year, where we come together as a school district and hear a common message and reaffirm our commitment to our district's mission and vision. I always look forward to this event as, for me, the start of another school year is filled with hope, opportunity, and a drive to get a little bit better than the year before. For me, the start of this school year is different and will likely be more difficult than previous school years for a number of reasons. Obviously, we will not be welcoming students back for in-person learning for a while. This reality has resulted in the creation of hundreds of new systems and protocols and procedures, as well as new ways of teaching. You're going to be asked to learn new skills and implement new strategies. What we do won't be perfect. Nothing rarely is. And the ideal of perfection is an unrealistic standard. In fact, at times over the coming weeks, it may be downright frustrating and maddening. There will be times where the expectations are unclear, times where the technology won't work, or times where the students won't have the supplies they need. It is in those moments where we will need to take a deep breath, lean on each other, and give each other the grace and patience we all deserve. We will get through this. This school year also brings the reality that as the result of this pandemic and the loss of outside revenue, we will begin this school year with 200 fewer classified staff than last year. This was an incredibly difficult decision, knowing the impact that these layoffs will have on so many individuals and families. I ask that you keep these staff members in your thoughts and in your hearts as we look forward to the day where we can welcome them back. In addition to our district's challenges, our country, our state, and our communities continue to struggle with a pandemic that has taken too many lives and disproportionately impacted our communities of color. At the same time, we are a country that continues to fail in addressing issues of racism and violence directed at people of color, while perpetuating systems of privilege and justice that benefit the dominant culture. Anyone who spends any time in our school district knows that equity is at the heart of our work. As Tyrone Howard said, an associate dean at UCLA, equity is the ways in which we meet people where they are, as opposed to equality, which says we're going to give everyone the same thing. Equity says we're going to give people what they need, and that may mean that there are some communities or some students who are in need of more time, more resources, and/or more support than others. Equity is not about fairness. It's about trying to be mindful of the historical ways in which opportunities and advantages have been disproportionately spread out among communities. It's about understanding historical disadvantages and the kinds of privileges afforded to some communities compared to others. COVID-19, the murder of George Floyd, among many others, and the violence directed at Black and African Americans like Jacob Blake has produced the largest systemic disturbance in many generations. We are in need of meaningful reform and change that will ensure the protection, the safety, and the equal opportunity for each member in our community. While schools closed overnight and the daily routines have changed, the inequities produced by educational systems are even more stark in terms of which students have access to technology, internet, food, and housing, and which families have the privilege of sheltering in place to stay safe. Coupled with the fact that many of our students are afraid to live their lives authentically, our students are entering the school year vulnerable and fearful. So as we begin to start another school year next week, it is in this mindset we must carry with us. And I worry in this new learning environment that we will exacerbate the current inequities that exist between the different demographic groups within our school district. I also remain deeply concerned about the growing of the achievement gap for our special education and English language learners through comprehensive distance learning. Each of us carries a responsibility for our education system. We know the current societal and educational structures, cultures, and practices that fail to appropriately support each student and fail to provide authentic inclusion cannot go on. We must think about all these developments in our state, our nation, and the world as an opportunity to continue to rethink education in a way that embraces and affirms all abilities and cultures and strives to heal current and past suffering caused by dominant culture and white supremacy. I know that each of us has a deep commitment to the success of each of our students, every single one of them. And achieving our mission of preparing graduates who are inspired and empowered to strengthen the quality of life in our local and global communities requires intentional action that identifies and removes barriers to student success. We recognize the students' experience in our schools is impacted by their identity, their race, ethnicity, family economics, mobility, language, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, and religion. So starting now, we have the opportunity to prepare for distance learning with purpose and intent, using what works best to accelerate students' learning, all the while maintaining an indelible focus on equity. So what are we to do? We must focus on relationships, cultural identity, and the wellness of our students. Relationships are critical, because how do we eliminate the detachment that our kids are feeling today? As John Maxwell, an American author, said, students do not care what we know until they know that we care. We must let students live in our hearts. How do we construct our school and learning experiences so that students see themselves in the curriculum? Students must see that they are important and are engaging in learning that shows that they are valued. This is the cultural relevance we must create. Our students' lives, their communities, families, and their ethnic, cultural, and linguistic histories must be honored and recognized in our schools and our classrooms. The research is clear that relationships and cultural identity are the precursors to academic success. And that academic success is also dependent on rigor. I need to be very clear. Rigor must be a component of all of our actions. Our students are only in second grade once. They're only in algebra once. And they're only in junior English once. Without rigor, our students will lack the academic skills that open the doors to opportunities. Without all three of these components, relationships, cultural relevancy, and rigor, applied to each of our students, we will continue to perpetuate inequities in our system. And finally, as we open school and comprehensive distance learning, communication and connection have never been as important. We must communicate consistently and clearly to students and their families to ensure their engagement. We must provide clarity as to what is expected, and we must make ourselves available in new and creative ways. Unlike our traditional schedule, comprehensive distance learning has the time built into the day for this purpose. One-on-one check-ins and small group instruction will be critical for our students' success. We have to remember that for many of our students, we are the most consistent adults that they have in their lives. As a result, these connections increase our students' sense of comfort, which is so important in these challenging times. So are we willing to use this opportunity to create the kind of educational system we want? Hugh Vasquez of the National Equity Project believes that if we're going to change a system, we as the individuals first have to see what the system is producing. Then we have to engage with others to design something different. And finally, we have to act. He goes on to say that seeing the system doesn't guarantee we will engage and act differently. The system is designed to get the results that it's getting. And it's also designed to ensure that we don't have the time to redesign it. The system is a well-oiled machine with tremendous momentum to keep things going as they are. The demands of doing school prohibit us from engaging and acting differently. But now that system has grounded to a halt. Recently, one of our colleagues wrote the following regarding the coming school year that I think captures what I'm trying to say. He wrote, "Everything I've said about distance learning, the powerlessness, the injustice of it, the knowledge that the system is stacked against me, everything I hate about it. That's the feeling that many of our kids feel about real school. Oh, and the insult at being told to just figure it out. Well, the system tells kids that all the time, either explicitly or implicitly. We tell kids that the system stinks, but you just got to get over it. Oh, and could you pretend that you like it? As a teacher, I live in a protected bubble that fits me. It's my comfort zone and I thrive in it. For now, that's been taken away from me. Maybe, just maybe, I've been given the gift of a tiny glimpse into what it's like to be asked not only to survive, but succeed in a frustrating and impenetrable system. The challenges that I'm about to face are not nearly as soul-crushing or deeply entrenched as those faced by some of our kids. I'm still approaching this unfamiliar world with power, experience, and a bedrock of societal safety. That's not true for many of the students we care most about and most worry about. This will be the most important year of my teaching career. It won't be elegant or even effective in the traditional sense. However, I have a chance to let kids know that they matter so much that I'll find a way for them to explore and discover, even when the world conspires against them. And that's a message I want to bring to every kid every year. It's going to be rough and I'm going to make some big mistakes, but I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to my students. No, I don't want to teach in this system, but I'm not here for the system. I'm here for my kids." Again, those are the words of one of our teachers that speaks to our challenges and also our opportunities. So as I close, we have been preparing for this moment of interruption, the moment where a great disturbance would bring the system to a halt. We've been given this moment that will allow us to go deeper with our relationships and build meaningful cultural relevancy with an overlay of rigor. Let's not lose this opportunity. We must use this time to create and innovate new ways of connecting and instructing and engaging with each of our students. Because we are strong in what we know, and we are strong in what we see, and strong in what we want. We have to act courageously now so we can come back together differently. We've got this. Thank you, and let's have a great school year.
Every day we rockin', who you think life amaze me. Full of purpose and love and bravery, and we keeping on.
We're here to make a change. Don't let this chance slip away.
Who got this? I got this. You got this. The whole team and the crew got this. And if we ain't got it, then we sure gon' get it. I got drive in my mind and I push it to the limits. He got this. They got this. She got this. You and me equals we got this. And if we ain't